Oh, hey Todd, I got this text. God's not dead. Huh.
I guess that's what we should review next.
Yeah. Oh, welcome to Last Call Reviews.
Yeah, I'm Randy Schick. This is Todd Crawford.
And we love Jesus Christ after we saw this movie. This is a late review to say the least.
Yes.
This came out a while ago.
It's also a loaded review. It's a political film. It's propaganda, basically. Whether you're Christian or not. I don't know if either of us would say we identify as Christian. We're not atheists or anything like that.
I just want to say right now to
But
people who are watching this review, if you're a radical Christian, you're a radical atheist. And
Why are you watching our channel?
If you're watching this review, if you're a radical atheist, I'll just get this out of the way.
Radical atheist plan 9.
I'll just say this for you right now. You're gonna hate this fucking movie. Don't watch it. If you're a radical Christian, go watch this movie and you're going to have the best time of your life. I just saved you watching this review.
If you're a radical Christian, please watch our show Plan 9.
Yes, please go watch Plan 9, where
Last Call,
where we masturbate to Sallow in the 120 Days of Sodom. Yeah. And if you don't know what that is, go check that out.
I guess what I'm getting at, though, is that we're not going to approach this review from any political agenda. We're going to review it as a movie.
We never do that in any of our reviews. We never go into any, even things with bias, like Fault in Our Stars. We don't want to fucking watch the YA love movie, but we go into it.
And we were pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, we are that way with so many things. We never go into films with biased opinion. I don't think ever. We're very open-minded. And reviewers, we understand you have to be. You have to take a film for what it is. So
One thing, also, I'm glad you brought up the Fault in Our Stars, because this review is going to be very close to that.
Yeah.
This is the closest one Fault in Our Stars I've seen this year.
Yeah. It's funny, it's just one got really good reviews that seems to be loved, where this is like getting a lot of hate and attack, and justifiably so. This is propaganda.
No, it's a bad movie.
This is shit. Yeah.
There's really no way around it. It's not a great movie.
I'm not going to cut around the bush. Don't think this is like a mixed review. Like Fault in Our Stars is because this film's shit. Like this is like a TV movie they got released in the theater.
The good news is that it's a really entertaining bad movie.
Here's the thing, like if you're like us, if you're like this kind of person, if you're like let's say agnosticism, like you're not super religious, and you're not like, you don't hate religion, you don't hate Christian messages and movies or stories, you can deal with it or something, you know. Or I'm not even saying an atheist would be that way, but just if you're a person who's not biased on those sort of things.
Yeah.
This movie as a film to watch, just as entertainment.
It's just so fun.
It's so ridiculous.
It's some of the most contrived screenwriting I've seen.
It's the most contrived screenwriting I think I've ever seen.
There's a subplot where
it's insane. Everybody knows everyone.
These two priests, they're trying to get to this concert because it's a big advertisement for the Newsboys. The film ends up being it's a big twist at the end. And that plays into the plot that their car won't run, and then Jesus provides for them when they need it, and that ties into the plot in a big way. The setup for this film is, I think it's based on a true story, isn't it?
Yeah. Here's the funny thing about it. Kevin Sorbo produced the film, right? And he's in it as this kid's going to college, and he's a Christian. And it's him and his girlfriend, and they're like that youth group wearing the cross. Yeah, Christian.
On the cheek. Yeah. She kisses on the cheek.
We haven't fucked yet, type thing. You know, the kid's definitely a virgin. You can tell this guy's never been laid. So he's like registers his classes, and one guy sees a cross. He's like, "You don't want to go to that class. Yeah. That teacher's gonna fuck your shit up."
No, it's set up like a horror movie, like Dracula. When you go to Transylvania, and the peasants like, "You stay away from that castle now, traveler."
And the kid's like, the kid's normal. He's like, "Why? Why would I?" He's like, "No, you don't want to go there." And it's like,
no, it's great.
And it's like, okay, so he goes in there, and the professor's immediately like, and to point out one positive, because I'm gonna go back and forth between some positives.
The heart of this movie is such a strong concept.
And Kevin Sorbo actually, to his credit, who I don't think is much of an actor in this performance, I actually think does a pretty decent job
for this kind of film.
I think he kind of elevates.
It reminded me of a poor man's Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
how he looked, the way he was playing the role.
Because he definitely has the worst written character in this movie. This guy,
he's a stereotype. Maybe the second worst.
Yeah,
there's another character.
Well, he just has so much screen time in this, though.
Yeah,
Kevin Sorbo,
no, that's
where
true.
they make him this atheist that's just such an asshole.
He asked the whole class to write down on a sheet of paper, "God is dead."
Yeah, and if you pass, if you write that down. Like he said, let's just avoid debate about talking about it. Fuck that. You think you're here for an easy degree.
Yeah, you need the class for a liberal arts degree.
Yeah.
Which is funny. He thought you didn't need to do this.
Yeah.
I'm in college right now. He went to college for a while. And actually, it is true, to get a liberal arts degree, you have to write "God is dead" on a piece of paper.
I mean, it's ridiculous because you first said, and you go, okay, what? This teacher would get fired.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so unethical. Like, it's ridiculous how unethical this guy is.
No, he's like a lunatic.
He's pushing his point of view on his students, and he's like, I'm God in this classroom. You do what
He
I say.
says that.
He's telling a Christian kid like, you can't practice your religion in this classroom. You can't be a Christian. I mean, it's not that anybody would get fired for. I mean, it's like so unethical. I mean, it's like the
no,
worst.
it's awful. You're a bad person.
No,
There's
it's
no way around it.
No, he's like telling the students. I mean, and it's clear at the beginning, and it's like if this was a normal college, every liberal student, even every atheist in that classroom, instead would go, "Well, you're a fucking asshole," and they'd walk out of that class.
The conflict of the film is that our Christian protagonist, he writes God's not done piece of paper.
He writes God. He's right. Yeah. Well, he says I can't do it. Is his thing.
But he writes it on the paper, I believe.
Yeah.
And the teacher says, okay, for the next 3 classes, you get 20-minute lectures, which is insane.
He lets a freshman get 20-minute lectures in class.
Completely deriding the whole class. The whole semester's thrown off.
To teach the kids to argue the point that Jesus
Just to
exists.
show that he's smarter than this teenage kid.
So, then the movie keeps cutting to random fucking people. It cuts to this Muslim girl. It cuts to this Asian kid.
It's like Magnolia.
Yeah,
It cuts to the Duck Dynasty. Phil, I think. I don't know them by name.
There's this great scene. There's this girl's probably my favorite character in the movie, who's this interviewer who
she's really good.
She finds out she has cancer, and it's about her kind of dealing with death in this, and like she's kind of fighting with her struggles with God.
Yeah.
And she goes and meets one of the leads from Duck Dynasty, and he does that typical Christian bullshit where she talks about real life issues, and he just throws a Jesus quote at her, and he says one of my favorite lines in there. He goes, "Those words are
written in red. That means they're important."
Yeah, those words are in red. That means they're important. That's his whole argument. She's
He
like,
didn't say Jesus said them and I followed him. They're
No.
very important. They're printed in red.
Yeah.
Like if you read a Bible that doesn't have the red ink for Jesus quotes, it doesn't count.
it's how it registered in his head, and she's like, "Huh."
And we realized that the guy from Duck Dynasty, he's actually a pretty good actor.
No, I gotta say the acting in all this movie was like the guy. There's a guy who plays a preacher in this or whatever.
Yeah, Trey Parker.
Yeah, he is. They're really good. Like the sad part is, this is the thing we said's our fault in our stars. If you watch that review, we talk about how that's a great idea, just with really simplistic writing
and a lack of focus.
Yes. This is a great idea. This is really a main issue where if you are Christian, if you are religious today, you are kind of getting bullied. The world is kind of shifting, especially the youth of today, slating towards atheism.
The point made by the college student kid against the professor is that he says, I'm not asking you to believe in Jesus, but I want to give you the option to, whereas you're not getting that option today.
No, you're telling...
That's a great message in a movie.
You're telling the ultimate message is you're telling these students... what should have been the ultimate, there's more than that. But he's like, the greatest point in the movie is when the kid says to students, like, you're not giving them a choice. You told them to write in the paper, God is dead. And he's like, I'm just telling them let them make their own minds, their lives, because that's the only thing. It's all his choice. Now, the professor, any normal human being would already know that. This professor's insane.
He basically threatens a kid. He wants to beat the crap out of this kid because he believes in Jesus.
He tells the kid, like, I made a mistake letting you out of my class, and I'm going to ruin you today. And he grabs him like, hey, kid.
Yeah, he talks about failing.
Talking about fucking Jesus in my class.
He hates this kid.
And then Kevin Sorbo has a wife in this, and his wife's a Christian, and he treats her like shit.
No, he makes fun of her when people come over.
He's a
patriarchal bastard.
They're having a dinner party, and the wife comes over, and she's just like, well, I believe in God. He's like, honey, fuck. Don't embarrass me in front of my friends.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God.
That.
And, like, he's just such an asshole, and all of his friends are like, why is your wife so stupid? It's like, I mean, honestly,
like, she's this primitive figure.
These are, like, atheist stereotypes.
Now, every atheist in the movie isn't just, like, somebody who doesn't believe in God. There's somebody, they're an awful person. Yeah, this guy,
Dean Cain, Superman.
Yeah, Dean Cain.
He's such an asshole.
Wife, or his fiancée gets cancer.
The girl with cancer.
And he says, "Do you have to tell me this now?" He says, "I don't care." Then he doesn't leave her at the or she doesn't leave him at the restaurant because he's a piece of shit. He leaves her because she has cancer.
She's holding him back because she has cancer. He leaves, and they try to explain it later or something with his mother, but at the end he's still an asshole. Yeah. Like, this movie's trying to show you multiple points of view and trying to be balanced. It's
trying to be Magnolia.
I honestly think there was really good intentions here, because like we said, this idea, like Fault in Our Stars, the idea of a professor kind of pushing a bit of an atheism towards it, and a student who is a Christian saying, hey, listen, I believe in God and that's okay. And then these other kids maybe kind of following Jesus or following what he finds, or finding faith.
I have to bring this point up. There's an Asian kid in the movie. I don't want to identify him as an Asian kid, but that's how the movie identifies him.
No, this movie's just stereotypes. It's okay.
And he calls his dad at points a movie, and he says, they're speaking 2 different languages in Chinese. I read online, which is really funny. And he tells his dad in one language of Chinese, hey, what do you know about Jesus Christ? Does he exist?
You heard about this Jesus guy?
And then the dad says another form of Chinese dialect. He's like, what's the professor say? He says he can't exist. He doesn't exist, leave me alone.
No,
and there's various points in the movie.
How the fuck do you keep calling me about Jesus?
Yeah, the dad literally says that. The kid's calling, he's like, Dad, what do you think about guns? I was like, why are you asking me? I don't care.
I want to put on my favorite scene though. There's this Muslim girl and she's at home and she's becoming...
It's like a scene from AI.
She's becoming a Christian because of the boy mentioning Jesus. And you know, in Muslim religion, a lot of the parents are very radical. You know, this is realistic. I've seen where the father's like
he was raised in a Muslim family.
Yeah. I just have friends who are Muslim. I've seen these types. I'm not saying all are. I'm not stereotyping. This movie does, but this situation's probably the most realistic out of the movie that could happen. The other ones just
but the setup of it.
Oh, it's insane.
It's borderline supernatural.
She's in there listening, right? And she's
Jesus.
And her brother's out there. Her like little
senior
senior brother, and he's watching the door, and the camera zooms in like a thriller, and it cuts back to her and Jesus, and he's like, and he opens the door slowly, and she's like. And then,
he immediately runs
it.
towards the iPod as if he knows that Jesus is on it.
And she's like, don't you tell Dad about Jesus today. And then like, I mean, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, we were just laughing so... it becomes a thriller scene because she's listening to...
One thing
the tone's all over the place.
I don't typically want to get into this kind of thing, but for the end of the review, I'd really like to get in some spoiler territory because it's one of the funniest... If you're not going to watch this movie, keep watching for the spoiler bits. Because I can't go without talking about it.
Okay, let me just mention a few more things before you're going to spoil it.
Do you want to do last call?
Yeah,
we'll
we'll do quick last calls. My last call is, this is a higher rating than this film deserves that I'm going to give it, because this film's shit. But, like I said, I had a lot of fun. I was not bored. This is a 2-hour movie.
It flies by.
The direction, I mean, honestly, people just I see on the board just make fun. I'm like, you didn't have fun with this? Like, honestly.
It's like a great Lifetime movie.
This is a great comedy, really fun Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
Like, if you go with that attitude, and I get maybe paying it, like, you know, like, if you were excited about it, or if you were...
I also get out politically, it does push an agenda.
No, it offends you. It's offensive, I get it. But it's just so stupid, I don't know how you could get offended.
Yeah.
No logical person would go into this movie and take any of its messages clearly.
It's sad, because if it was made by a Cameron Crowe, John Hughes type, it could have been a masterpiece.
Because that's what I keep saying.
But it's written by someone so out of touch with reality. There's this surreal, weird thing.
Well, that's the thing I keep saying, like, people out there, like atheists or anybody, thinks this could be good. It could be. You could explore really at the ultimate day, like, how everyone's kind of different.
Yeah.
And the world we can live in and explore today, religion, and in college, being college, in a more liberal society.
Or just faith. We're all going to die someday. We don't know what's going to happen, but some of us want to have faith, or some of us do
and
believe
choices
in
you make in life, and death.
Yeah.
It's serious stuff. People have cancer in this. People have dementia. People have lost each other. Also, one thing I just have to mention before we end the last call. There's a girlfriend, that girlfriend character we mentioned earlier.
She's great.
And she is a bitch.
Most realistic college girlfriend in any movie I've ever seen.
She tells this guy basically, yeah, because of the faith that you believe in God, even though she's a Christian too, the fact that you're putting that ahead of our relationship first, you have to make a choice. Me or God? And he's like, well, we're Christians, we put God first. And she's like, fuck you, buddy. 6 years, bye-bye.
No,
and then she probably went and banged another guy. Like,
she probably had sex with the professor.
Yeah, and this, I mean, that's the thing, like, this is all stereotypes. They make her a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
They make the atheist an
They're
asshole.
all one note.
They make the only character that really has like three-dimensional, I think, is probably the cancer chick.
Yeah.
She changes, and she does it in an organic way. Kevin Sorbo's character, I won't spoil it, but what they do with him when we get to spoilers is fucking retarded. And
no, it's hysterical. It's awful.
I'm celebrating. Okay, but the last call, I like I said, I'm giving this a C+. And I don't think it deserves that. I think it's a D movie, but I just had a fun time. I had a really good time. It flew by, and it was a really fun movie. So yeah, C+ all the way. Like, God's Not Dead. Like if you're like me, like if you like bad movies, like guilty pleasures, rent the shit out of this.
It's not the Room level, but it's along those lines.
Yeah, and if you're an atheist and you actually like love watching Christians be dumb, this is the poster movie for that. If you want to see like stupid Christianity propaganda, like enjoy it.
Enjoy.
Yeah, because he even tries to say like science proves God, and he has no argument, and the atheist teacher doesn't even argue back. It's ridiculous. Like there's no logic to this movie's arguments.
So for my last call, I don't even know what to give it. I haven't thought of one because it's not even a movie to me.
No, that's how I just said C+ because that's like
so
a high negative for us.
It's not even like something to review, just to watch and study to see how people actually think a certain way.
I saw Amazing Spider-Man 2 this year and gave it a C+, and I like this more. than when I walked out of Amazing
Are you
Spider-Man.
giving Amazing Spider-Man D+?
No, I gave it a C+.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, you gave it a C-, and I gave it a C+.
Oh.
But I was, because I thought the filmmaking was...
Yeah, no, I get it.
But this movie, it was more entertaining.
Yeah, I'll give this one a C+ too, because I don't know what to give it. And
Yeah, that's the problem.
honestly, in terms of enjoyment, and I had a B+
No, it's a B.
time
No, me too.
watching this movie, but it's like a D- movie.
No, I know. I probably had
so
more...
I'll go in the middle.
I probably had more fun than this than I did at like better movies this year.
Yeah.
Like I won't deny that. This was so much fun to me. It was like, oh my god. Like it's what Fault in the Stars didn't have, where it could be fun because it was stupid. It was just kind of boring
and very cynical. This one's the opposite. We're so hopeful and stupid.
It's sensationalism.
It's infectious. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to spoilers
Okay, so this is a spoiler portion of our review.
of God's Not Dead. Okay, so all the stuff that we were hinting at. Kevin Sorbo's character, which you end up finding out.
He ends up going to the...
Well, we'll tell him why you find out he's an atheist. Why the movie's logic behind it is.
Someone in his family
His
that was
mother.
close to him. I thought it was his mother or his daughter.
His mother's daughter died, right?
Both. His mother was his daughter. I don't know.
Yeah. They died, and this movie's logic. The only reason you become an atheist
Is that you can't fathom how bad things happen.
Yeah, that
so
like
you hate God, and he
Yeah.
says this in the movie. I hate God,
and the kid's
He
like,
says
how
to
can
the
you
kid.
hate someone that doesn't exist? And it's like,
and it's like, oh, endgame.
that's how it
Kevin
is.
Sorbo
It's
becomes
like,
a Christian.
it's like checkmate, motherfucker. Kevin
So-
Sorbo,
so
and all the
he's-
kids are like,
so he's walking to the Newsboys,
and
to
everybody
see
in
him
the
concert
film
because he's Christian.
is
now.
going to the Newsboys
They
concert.
love the Newsboys.
No,
They
Newsboys.
show up in the movie.
I'm gonna say this to you right now. Fuck you.
No, they're
Fuck
awful.
you. Like, people share this. If you're a fan of Newsboys, go kill yourself, but share this before on their channel. As somebody that used to be a pretty former Christian and go to church a lot and be in youth groups and know a lot of guys in youth group bands, the fact that you made this film and what you do at the end when we get to it and how you advertise yourselves, you are bad fucking people.
I
you
went
use
to youth
God.
group a lot, and
They use
a lot
God
of
and
people,
religion
they
to
should
sell
go
their own
concerts.
selves.
Newsboys was a big one. There's the Alive Festival, I believe it's called. And there's this bands like Skillet, so they push these messages like, if you believe in God, everything's good, you'll never have a problem in your life, which is, it's bullshit. It's not
No.
true. You're going to have trouble. Christianity makes life harder in some ways, but it's ultimately more rewarding, I think.
Christianity is more like something that's
This
a
is a-
philosophy that you have to live by and you can live with it or not. Like if it makes your life better or
And
not.
we're not trying to
anywhere.
tell people how to live
No,
or
I'm just
interpret
saying, even if you're a Christian, if you like this, you need to reevaluate your faith because this is not good Christianity. This is propaganda bullshit.
The Newsboys use
is
this
money
movie
shit.
and the story. They resolve it. The girl with cancer talks to them. And they make her feel better because they're such great Christians. It's clearly a marketing scheme.
No,
on their
she
part.
shows up and she's like, and they're like, you didn't come here because you
They're
wanted
the
to
nicest
interview
people
us.
on earth. They're like Scooby-Doo or something.
You came here because you have cancer and you wanted to pray with us. And they're like, you got a show. And he's like, hey, we got shit to do. It's pretty important.
And they pray with cancer.
And they have this like Australian drummer who's awesome.
No, the Austrian drummer, you're great. Don't ever change.
No, fuck you. I love you.
No, he gets one line
yeah.
every scene that he's in.
I want to hang out with you all day. You're the Shaggy.
No, he's great.
But Kevin Sorbo's walking towards the concert, and he's like Christian, like he's fighting his faith. He's like, I gotta go. And his wife who left him's at the concert, who justifiably left him because he's just an
the
asshole. to his
student
wife.
he is, all the students he's bullying,
Yeah,
Asian
the
kid, all
Muslim
kids,
girl.
yeah,
The
they're all
Muslim girl's a
there.
Christian now because her dad kicked her out. Her dad fucking like kicks her out of the house.
Her dad's even at the concert.
Yeah, they're all there at the concert at the end. It's so contrived. Like everybody in this movie knows each other.
The dementia grandma is probably.
Yeah.
Or she's the mother.
The only character who doesn't show up is Dean Cain at the end, and
because he's a bad person. He doesn't go see
and
the
the final
Newsboys.
note's great, but he's walking Kevin Sorbo, and I guess you say the light turns red, and the preacher guy and his friend are in a car right beside it.
The
and they've been-
implication is that they're in the car now at this point because they're going to have a moment with this character.
Yeah.
And that God put them there for that reason.
Yes,
Which is
that's-
actually interesting. In a good movie, that may work.
No, if
But it's so contrived.
if it wasn't contrived and it had nuance and it was a good
Yeah.
movie and it explored it and you could come to your own interpretation, like maybe God did intervene here, but this movie clearly says no, God was here involved in this moment. But Kevin Sorbo's walking and he gets hit by a fucking car.
This is slow-mo shot. I'm reaching out towards
Whoa!
the camera.
If you see Die Hard 2, where Bruce Willis shoots out of the ejector seat, he's like, "What?" That's the shot.
Yeah.
It's like, "Whoa!" And, it's like, and then he lands. He should be instantly dead, really. He lands. He's like, "Oh, oh," and then the preacher comes out. He's like, "I think God made this happen." so I can preach to you and
Yeah.
make you a Christian. Accept his love right now. And while they're doing this, they keep cutting to the concert. Everyone's
Everybody's
like,
happy, yeah. And then at the concert, they get
they get the Duck Dynasty.
yeah, the Duck Dynasty's there.
And he's
he
like, I
talks
heard.
with New Boys, and he said,
I heard about them that you were debating about God being dead there. He goes, I heard that student out there's great.
Snoop Dogg.
Hey, but I heard all you boys out there. He's like, I need you all to text, God's not dead to all your friends so we can spread it. So this guy just died.
well, they're talking mad smack on
Yeah.
the concert, like,
He's talking
screw
some-
this teacher
Yeah.
as he's dying, and they're all happy.
And the preacher and the guy that are with him when he dies, they're happy.
No, at the end, after he dies, he says at the crime scene, the preacher says, a good thing happened here today.
Yeah, I'm glad this happened. This guy died. I'm glad we were here.
This bad person.
Yeah, and they're all like cheering, like, yeah, he's dead, woo! And there's no resolution. He's just fucking dead.
Because he's a bad person, he's an atheist.
And it tells you at the end, text God's not dead, because we killed this fucking atheist. We got rid of the
we
bad
taught
guy.
him.
But Dean Cain at the end, what's great, he's the asshole character, and he gets the text at the end, and it says God not's dead, and he throws his phone over his shoulder and is
Yeah.
like, fuck that, and that was me. I was like, yeah, you guys are dicks. Like, how... No, like, the Duck Dynasty people, the people at the concert, and that final message, and the newsboys, like,
No,
that
that's
shit's
awful.
That's
The third
awful.
act's awful. It's
Did-
so horrible.
Like, dude, Newsboys, did you really want to support a film where you kill a human being and then his death becomes, like, celebration? I know you're celebrating God, but you're devaluing human life
yeah,
by doing
it's
so.
death worship.
Yeah, you're saying death is, like, great because it's the escape from life. I get that if you're a Christian, but this guy fucking died. His wife's there. The student's there. All these people that know this
Okay.
guy.
So since we're going to have to wrap this up again,
Yeah.
we're going to do the real last call now. Our other one was just kind of a jokey thing for people who don't watch the spoilers. I'll begin. God's Not Dead, A+.
Yeah, I
Best
mean...
movie of the year.
I mean, it really. We were kind of building around the punchline here, but this is the best movie of the year. I
I don't know why these atheists are giving it bad reviews, but it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's the Godfather, Citizen Kane. God's not dead.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's
Easily.
really it's like
Yeah.
it's like. But yeah, to this director.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I want to know you. Like, if you were a comedian, like a comedy director, you'd be fucking awesome.
We want to be in your next movie
yeah.
as two Christian college
You know,
kids.
Please put me in your movie. Please put my band.
I'll
in
even
your-
play an evil atheist tyrant if you need me to.
Hey, we can have goatees. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's
you
fun.
can paste them onto our face.